Hello, welcome to another episode of your Next in Tech. Let's look into the developer-oriented selection of macOS terminal commands that are especially handy if you write code, manage projects, or work with servers. For process and resource monitoring purposes, we can use a command lsof space -i to view a live list of open network connections. So if I press enter, you can see that these are some of the open network connections I have on my system. To check server or API response for API and backend work related purpose, you can use a command curl space -i. You can give the API link. For example, I'm using api.google.com. You get information if the API is working and to check the server or API responses if the API is available. You will be able to find more information. Here it is not available because I'm not using Google API in my project at this point. So it is showing a 404. But if you have a actual API and you wanted to check the server response, we can use this command curl -i and give the link for the API. To test latency to a server, you can use a command ping and then give the server. I'm using, for example, google.com as my server, which is not. So you can see that it is searching the Google server and it's pinging Google server. To exit from this code, you can use Control C and you can see that google.com ping statistics 17 packet transmitted, 17 packets received, 0 packet loss. To test the latency of your server, of any server, you can use this command ping and then give the server address and it will provide the information. If you wanted to look up DNS records, you can use a command dig and then the DNS records. I'm using google.com here again. It's gonna give the DNS records of google.com. It is showing information here. For automation and productivity purposes, you can run multiple commands in sequence, like command 1 and then give a space and then put 2 ampersand space command 2. It will run 2 commands in sequence. So for example, let's say I want to see or monitor list of activity in my system. We have seen this command in the previous episode. Top is a command to monitor quickly my system. That's one command, and then space ampersand space another command. Let's say I wanted to have a list of recently used commands. I'm going to use command history. The command top will monitor my system very quickly. The command history will give me the list of recently used commands. So if I press enter, you can see this is my system activity. And if I press Q, this is the history of most recent commands I have used in the system. If you wanted the result of multiple commands together, you can use double ampersand between the commands and it will produce the results in sequence. If you want to save command output to a file, go to Documents folder. So I wanted to create that file here in the Documents folder. I'm going to go to that and then to save the command output to a file, I'm using this command ls space -lah space greater than space and then give the file a name. So I'm going to say output command.txt. If I press enter, nothing happens here. But if I go to my documents folder, you can see that output command.txt here in the documents. If I open that, you can see all the commands that I have used and details of all the files in my system can be found here. If I want to copy output directly to a clipboard, then use a command ls space -lah space or sign pb copy. And then if I use pb paste, all those same information is gonna paste on my terminal. But if I wanted to paste it into another document or file, you can go there and use the pb paste command and it will paste all that information there. For a software developer, the terminal is an essential tool for everything from managing code to debugging application. We have already seen a few of them. Let's look at some of the handy commands. If you wanted to search for a pattern within files, we can use a command grep. Let's say if I wanted to search for a word picture inside the file output command, let's say another word, maybe picture. So it's gonna match the word picture in every line of this output command.txt file, and it's returning all the information about that word here. You can also pipe output from other commands to grep to filter results. For example, if you wanted to see if a process name crom is running, what you can do is use the command ps aux and pipe and grep and crom. So it's going to show all the information about the results Chrome is running or not. If you wanted to quickly read the contents of a text file without opening a text editor, you can use a command cat, and let's use the same file output command.txt. So I wanted to display all the contents of this file, and I can just use this command cat and mention the file name. It will print out the contents of the file. The command cat can be used to combine two files into one, like if you have file1.txt and file2.txt and want to merge them into a new file called, let's say, combined.txt, you can use this command cat file1.txt space file2.txt space greater than, which shows the merge into another file combined.txt. This will combine the two files and print the results into the combined.txt. And if you wanted to create a new file quickly, again, you can use the command cat and say cat space greater than, I would say, notes.txt. It will create a notes.txt file. And this is now have opened txt file notes.txt. So I'm going to say hello world. This is my text. I want it to be in the notes.txt. Press Control D. This will save and exit that file. If I go to the documents, I can see notes.txt file, and if I open it, the text that I have typed is saved in this notes.txt. So cat has a lot of other benefits. Cat helps with multiple functions without dealing with a text editor. Another command is head. Head shows the first few lines of a file, and then there is another command called tail, which shows the last few lines of a file. This will particularly useful for looking at log files. For example, head output command.txt. This is showing the first few lines of output command.txt. I use the same with the notes.txt. It will show hello world because that's the first line of that file. And if I use tail output command.txt, it shows the last few lines of that. And if I use the same with the notes.txt, it has only one line, so it will show the same result. For large files like log files, you wanted to see the last few lines of the log system, you can use this head and tail for showing the head and tail of a file. You can use tail space -f and then file.log. This will follow this file displaying new lines as they are written. Especially if you wanted to look into the live results of a log file, you can use this command to show what's been newly saved or newly written line or log of that file. Another command that will be handy for a software developer is less. This is a powerful file pager that lets you view file content one screen at a time with the ability to scroll forward and backward. It is much more powerful than cat for reading files because it doesn't dump the entire file onto your screen at once. Instead, it lets you scroll through it interactively. If I use less output command streamline.txt, you can see that it's showing few lines and you can scroll up and down. As you scroll, you can see new information, but if I scroll up, it is showing only the few lines. If I scroll up, it is going to show more lines into it, but it's not dumping all the information here. Let's have more functions, like if you run a command that produces hundreds of lines of text, you can pipe it into less, so you can scroll through it instead of all the hundreds and thousands of lines being appearing on the screen and you have to scroll. It won't dump all the lines into your screen and make it a mess. So you can have some control on how to see or what to see and when to see the lines of text inside file. The command sed is a stream editor for filtering and transforming text. It's powerful for complex find and replace operations across multiple files. For example, remember we have the notes.txt file which has hello world. So I wanted to replace the world with universe. I can use this command sed space single quote and s/world/ which is the old text, and then I wanted to replace the world with universe. Then single quote, then we have to mention the file name notes.txt. Will say hello universe instead of hello world. This will only print the change to the terminal. The actual file will still say hello world. This is helpful for something that you wanted to see in your text, to see how certain specific lines or words will reflect in a document instead of changing it in the actual document. Like before changing it to actual document, you can see how it works. Then you can save it using sed space -i size the flag that used to change the file. Before changing the file, I will show you what's in the notes. It still shows hello world, not hello universe. So to change it, what I can do is sed -i single quote twice space single quote s/old text which is world /new text which is universe, and then / and g single quote space notes.txt. Open notes.txt. It's now showing hello universe instead of hello world. Without opening a text editor, you can change the word or specific line or find different words using sed. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future episodes. Do you have a burning tech question or a specific trend you would like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below. Your suggestions help us shape the series just for you. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.